Hey, what's going on, everybody? First off, Happy New Year. Second, I wanted to give you guys something that I think is really going to help you to start this year. Sorry about the sun and the glare. I'm trying to do my best to work around it. So, what I wanted to go over is five things that if you focus on in 2023, you will be able to not just grow and survive, but absolutely thrive and crush it. All right. And here's why I say that. We are going into a very, very, very turbulent time, economically speaking and politically speaking. Okay. And running a small business in this time is going to be challenging. Okay. We've already been dealing with a lot of issues, inflation, supply chain shortages, labor shortages, you name it, we're dealing with it. So, what I wanted to do is come on here and give you guys a blueprint to absolutely crush 23 and put yourself in the best position possible because the businesses that do well in these times are going to be the businesses that absolutely explode and take off and get to that next level when things get a little bit better, a little bit easier. Okay. Sorry, I keep moving, but I got some wicked glare. So, let's go into this, all right, because it's so important. First off, I want you to focus on the four pillars of business financing. This is a term I go over with anybody in our group, and it's basically keeping yourself and your business in the best possible position to get what you need. All right. And the first one's going to be credit. Okay. Your personal credit. Make sure your personal credit is as strong as possible. All right. You should be trying to focus on getting your credit above 700 as quick as humanly possible. Because in the event that you do need to go out and get financing, okay, having the highest possible credit will make things cheaper. All right. It'll get you access to more cash. And, if you look at what it costs, rate wise to get the best rate versus to get a mid rate or not be able to get an SBA loan and you have to go with a working capital line, that will absolutely impact your level of profitability. Okay. So we want to focus on that and keep that consistent. So work on your personal credit. The other thing to do, work on your business credit. So many business owners don't even know that you have business credit. And business credit comes into play when you need to get an SBA loan, when you need to get equipment financing, or any transaction over 250. All right. I have a lot of content on how to get your business credit, how to build your business credit. And it will also help you if you're bidding on government work or getting terms from your vendors. So make sure you're working on your business credit. All right. That's the first pillar of the four pillars is credit. Next, cash flow. Make sure your business has strong and healthy cash flow. What does that mean? Well, that means you want at least 10 deposits a month going into a business bank account. You want, consistency or growing revenues. You also want to keep a lot of enough cash in the bank, meaning if you're doing $100,000 a month in revenue, you should at least be keeping anywhere between $5,000 and $10,000 in the bank at all times. No negative days. Keep your cash flow as strong as possible. You always want between 5 and 10% of what your monthly sales are. All right. A lot of people make those mistakes, and then when it comes time to get financing, you don't get approved for the programs that you want or you should have. All right. So that's a big one. And then the next thing, which you can't really control to a degree, is your time in business. Okay. The longer a business has been established and is operating, the less risky it is. Okay. So why do I bring this up if you can't really control it? Because some people make the mistake of creating a new entity. Okay. Don't do that. Keep your existing entity in business as long as humanly possible. All right. Because businesses under a year are insanely risky and it's very hard to get approved. Businesses 2+ years, you have access to basically any program that you want. And then once you've been in business 5+ years, it's a very stable, low risk business, at least from the bank sides. And then the next thing, profitability. All right. Make sure that you are on your numbers and that after every month you update your financials. Okay. You want to run a profitable business. That doesn't mean, you have to claim every single dollar. Like a lot of people try to write down so they don't have to pay taxes. And I understand that. However, if you could just claim $45,000 a year in profit, what that does is it allows you to borrow 350 from the SBA over 10 years. Okay. Which is a meaningful metric. Right? And 45,000 in profit, you're not going to get beat up too bad on taxes. All right. Now, after you focus on the four pillars of business financing, after they're as strong as possible, here's how you can crush 2023. One, you want cash on hand. What does that mean? You want to build yourself a moat of cash because there are going to be like opportunities you can take advantage of, right? I do think that your competitors may go out of business, so you can buy their assets cheap. I think that having cash on hand will give you a little bit of flexibility. Maybe you can work out some great deals with some of your suppliers and vendors, right? If you can buy things in bulk that you know are going to move, that there's a huge advantage of having that disposable cash on hand in your business. So make sure you have that. One of the easiest ways to get a lot of cash on hand that isn't going to cost you a lot of money, okay, and it's not going to be a high payment. You can always do what we call the SBA flash cap. Okay, we probably have 50 of them in process right now, and it's basically a 10-year loan. As long as you have 700 credit, you can get up to 150,000, and you don't even need to be profitable. As long as you did 500,000 in gross annual sales the last year on your tax return, you can go in, grab 150, and use that over the next, call it 2 to 3 years. Plus, the payment's minimal because it's a 10-year loan. All right, if you need help, reach out. But that's the easiest way to get cash on hand. Now, next, not just having cash on hand, but having access to cash. Okay. I can't stress enough. Every single business needs a line of credit. Okay. It's one of the first things I ask when someone comes in to work with me. Do you have a line of credit set up? If not, they take 24 to 72 hours. The best time to apply for one is when you don't need it. Have it set up. Don't use it. Why? Because if something comes up for sale, okay, if you can, hire somebody that you didn't think you would be able to hire, because we're going to see that. We're going to see a lot of people. I think there's going to be an opportunity to grab really great people that are getting let go other places. You're going to want to be able to bring them on and not have to worry about, the first, call it, month when they're ramping up. If you want it for opportunities, right? So for inventory opportunities, for marketing opportunities, whatever that looks like in your business, it's important to have that line of credit. Also, you want that line of credit set up for emergencies. Okay, if something happens and disrupts your business, it is vital that you have that there for emergencies. Okay, don't discount that. Make sure that's set up. Now, the other thing I want to go over is cutting costs. Okay, this is an exercise I want every single person to do because it's so important. See where in your business you can cut costs. All right. The biggest thing we see is, if you go through your business and look in the bank and look on your credit cards, I guarantee you there's probably 2 or 3 subscriptions that you have there that you're not using. Okay. Cut those. Cut things that are not producing an ROI, a return on investment. All right. Make sure that you can, if you go back, let's say the last 3 months in your business, okay, see where every dollar went and see what can get cut. And then after you do that, you want to go and track certain services. Like payment processing is one that you could save a ton of money on today. Reach out if you need help. Insurance is another one. There are a lot of things that you probably have been paying for a while that you can go in and either renegotiate or shop around to see where you can have some level of savings. This is important in tough times. You want to run as lean as possible. This doesn't mean cut marketing. You should never, ever, ever cut marketing. Okay. The last thing I'm going to say about cutting costs, all right, any debt that you have on the business that is not producing a return needs to go. Okay. Let me give you an example. Any credit cards that you have that have high balances, they need to get paid down. The easiest way to do that is a term loan or that SBA loan. Pay those down. Any debt that is not producing any type of return, if it's not attached to an asset, like You have equipment financing. You don't have to pay that now, right? That machine that you bought is producing a return. But any other debt that isn't producing a return for your business, you should get rid of. It is super important. All right. That's a big part of cutting costs. And now, next, how do you focus on growth? Okay, in 23. Besides marketing, content's going to be huge. Educate your client base, help your client base because they will want to work with people they know, they like, and trust. How do you do that? By producing a ton of content and by demonstrating value before they even sign up to work with you. Next, partnerships. I think partnerships are huge. Find out who exactly works with your clients, who works with your clients in other and serves them in other ways. Okay. Now, if you see the poster behind me, core values, figure out who else has the same type of client base and how can you make it a win-win-win, meaning a win for them, a win for the client, a win for you, and figure out a mutually beneficial partnership as long as they have the same core values you do. Okay. And the more of these partnerships that you bring on and you develop, it's going to be easier and easier to get more clients, and they're easier to bring on, meaning they're coming in from a warm introduction as opposed to you having to sell them through an email or anything else. So develop as many of these strategic partnerships as you can in 2023 and work with them on a weekly or monthly basis to make sure that you are delivering value to them and the client and figure out ways that you can continuously grow that and expand that relationship. And then the last thing I'm going to tell you is client acquisition, client retention. Okay. Make sure any of your clients, you treat them like gold. You go above and beyond. All right. Post sale process is huge. Follow up with them after they've received whatever you delivered, like whether it's a good or a service. A handwritten note goes a long way. Calling them to check in on them goes a long way. See how else you can serve them. All right. And you can turn one client into two, two into four, four into eight. And that doesn't cost you anything. Okay. A handwritten note, a gift after doesn't cost you anything. And so few companies actually do that and actually care about their clients that it will differentiate you from everybody else they've worked with. And they're not going to want to go anywhere else. Right. I really strongly believe that if you guys focus on those 5 things, you guys will have an amazing year. I hope this helped. If I can do anything, please reach out. I'm always here for you guys. Take care. Have a great day.